Hey, fourth graders, Mrs. Somick here, and presenting this week's lesson on integrating ideas across texts. So, what in the world does that mean to integrate ideas across text? Well, friends, we have learned so much as we have been sharing and discussing our exciting nonfiction texts throughout our study. And we have deepened our thinking about reading and practiced many important strategies for making meaning. Now, today, we're going to learn how to read like researchers and to integrate information from two texts on the same topic to further expand our understanding about a topic, which we've kind of already done with our nonfiction writing we've been working on. Now, our two texts are going to be e-trash, what happens to our old electronics, and recycling. Now, as we read, we're going to see what big ideas from these two articles can really stick in our minds, and we're going to integrate, or in other words, we're going to combine the key information from both texts to learn more about this topic. So, if you take a look here, we're going to use this graphic organizer. It's just like a really big bubble map, kind of like we did on Friday with our summarizing as well. Now, we're going to use this graphic organizer to note key pieces of information about the same topic, but from two texts. Remember, on Friday, we only took it from one. We're going to take information from both texts today. Now, we're going to begin by reading through the e-trash article. Now, this article is going to explain the importance of recycling our electronics. Did you know that we can recycle our old laptops and other electronics? That's pretty cool. And as I read, I want you to follow along and we will note key ideas from the text on our chart. And when we come across a piece of information that you think is important, okay, let's make sure we add that to our chart. So, like I said before, let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the first article, e-trash. What happens to our old electronics? What do you think about when you hear the words consumer electronics, televisions, laptops, cell phones, MP3 players? Well, here's one that probably doesn't come to mind, and that word is trash. Like everything else, electronics wear out, break, or even get replaced by new and improved models. Most people forget about their old electronics as soon as they get their new gear. Now, as a result, more than 80% of old electronics end up in landfills with the rest of our garbage. Consumers don't know much about the downside of e-trash, and education is needed to make a change for our future. So already it's grabbed my attention here. I can see that we're going to be talking here about what we do with our old electronics. Now look here. The first heading says, is that a big problem? Let's see if we can find a key detail that we can pull out of here to add to our graphic organizer. Yes, it's big. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, says electronics make up about 2% of landfills. That might not sound like much, but don't kid yourself. In 2007, the EPA estimated that 2.25 million tons of electronics ended up in landfills. That's 45 billion pounds, or roughly the weight of 500,000 10-year-old kids. Now, e-trash is growing every year, and therefore, so is the problem at hand. All right, friends, so let's take a look here at our web. We've already gotten started here. Now, we're not going to worry about summarizing just yet, okay? We'll do that at the very end. But let's pull out some key information that we've already talked about with the e-trash. What did we just say? The question, the heading here was, is it a big problem? Well, what did the details tell us? What can I pull out that I could add to my web? Yes, it is a big problem. Let's write this down. E-trash is growing every year. That was that last sentence I had already read. Okay, so it's getting to be a bigger and bigger problem every year. Please fill that in on your bubble map right now. And if you need to pause the video to do so, that is fine. Okay, well, let's keep on reading here as we go into the next the next heading here on why is that a problem. Let's read. Electronics are made from a variety of materials. Some are relatively harmless. Others, such as lead, nickel, cadmium, and mercury, can be toxic. Over time, these toxic materials can leak into groundwater and be released into the atmosphere. Consequently, drinking the contaminated water or breathing the polluted air can make people very sick. This is a situation that can be avoided. So we know there's this cause and effect kind of relationship here. Another important problem. So why should we care about e-trash going into our environment? I think there's a key idea we need to add in here. What do you guys think? So what happens when that e-trash goes into the ground? E-trash can be toxic. Therefore, it's polluting our air and our water. Let's add that key idea to our web here. You can pause the video if you need more time. Otherwise, let's keep on going. All right, we're moving into our last heading. What can we do about it? We're going to pull out some key information about what we can do in this last section. Recycle. Much of the electronics that end up in the landfills can be reused or recycled, but we're doing a terrible job of that. The EPA estimates that in 2007, only 18% of discarded TVs and computers and only 10% of old cell phones were recycled. This is unfortunate because recycling electronics does more than cut the level of toxic materials in landfills. It also reduces the environmental impact of mining and manufacturing new materials. For example, recycling 1 million laptops can save enough electricity to run 3,657 homes for a whole year. Recycling 1 million cell phones can net 75 pounds of gold and 33 pounds of palladium. I think I pronounced that correctly. With greater public awareness, great changes can occur. So the next time you get a new cell phone or MP3 player, don't forget about your old one. Look at the internet for an electronic recycling facility. Recycling your old electronic gear doesn't take a lot of effort, and it does a world of good. Okay, so let's see if we can pull out a good key detail that we could about what we can do. So what is the text telling me here? What can we do to try to solve that problem of the e-trash polluting our air and water? What did it say we need to do? We need to recycle. Easy peasy, right? We need to recycle our electronics. Okay, so friends, we've pulled out 3 major key ideas. We talked about how e-trash is growing every year. This is an issue because it pollutes our air and water, and we need to recycle our electronics. So all that information we pulled on from that first article. Let's move into the next article. And look, the next article is all about recycling, which is kind of where we left off here about what we need to do with our e-trash, right? Okay. So as we look at this next article here on recycling, we know recyclables actually sounds kind of like an interesting topic. So we're going to read about what this author has to say about it. Okay? So, and as we're reading, I want you to pay close attention to what we're actually throwing away. Let's see. Now remember, in the other article on e-trash, okay, it said that in the next 3 years, Americans could be throwing away over 130 million cell phones per year. Remember, the e-trash article told us that 1 million cell phones could net 75 pounds of gold. So imagine how much gold 130 million cell phones could actually net. All right, so we're going to see how that's going to work into our web here in just a moment. Recycling. Recycling is the reprocessing of used materials into new products. It means taking a product or material at the end of its useful life and turning it into a usable raw material to make another product. The goal of recycling is preventing the waste of potentially useful materials, reducing the consumption of fresh raw materials, and reducing energy uses, reducing air and water pollution by reducing the need for conventional waste disposal. So recycling shrinks the amount of waste that actually ends up in landfills and pollutes the environment. Now, recyclables. Recyclable materials, also known as recyclables, they may originate from home, industry, or business. Recyclables include paper, plastic, glass, electronics, metals, and textiles. Now, there's 3 major steps in the recycling process. 1, collecting the recyclable materials. 2, manufacturing recycled content products. And 3, purchasing recycled products. These 3 steps create a circle or a loop that ensures the overall success and value of recycling. Collecting. The methods of collection vary from one community to another. There are 4 primary methods: drop-off centers, curbside pickup, buyback centers, and deposit refund programs. Recyclables are sent to a material recovery facility to be sorted and prepared into marketable commodities for manufacturing. Now, manufacturing. Once cleaned and separated, the recyclables are ready to undergo the second step in the recycling loop. More and more of today's products are being manufactured with total or partial recycled content. Purchasing. Purchasing recycled products complete the loop of process, and by buying recycled products, businesses, governments, and individual consumers can play an important role in making the recycling process a success. A consumer demand more environmentally sound products. Manufacturers will continue to meet that demand by producing high-quality recycled products. So our next section here is, what are those recycled products? Most of the items we put in the garbage cans can and should be recycled. There are more than 4,500 recycled content products available, and the number continues to grow. The list on the right represents just a sampling of the products that can be made with recycled content. And so my list includes aluminum cans, carpeting, cereal boxes, comic books, egg cartons, electronics, glass containers, laundry detergent bottles, motor oil, newspapers, paper towels, steel products, and trash bags. So let's take a look at plastics. Americans are using about 70 million disposable plastic bottles each day. 60 million of these bottles end up in landfills and incinerators each day. Many more end in our streets, parks, waterways, oceans, and beaches. Aluminum. In the early 1960s, the U.S. started to use aluminum beverage cans. By 1968, metal companies found that in recycling these cans, they could save up to 95% of the energy it takes to mine and refine the metal from the ore. Also, 95% of the environmental emissions associated with can production were eliminated. The most productive can recycling year was 1997, when 66.5% of all cans produced were recycled. In 2005, the recycling rate has slipped to 52%, and some estimate that we are putting 900,000 tons of cans in the landfill each year. Paper. About 80% of what Americans throw away is recyclable. Our recycling rate in 2000 was only 45.4%. Recycling 1 ton of paper saves 17 trees, 2 barrels of oil, 4,100 kilowatts of energy, 4.2 cubic yards of landfill space, and 60 pounds of air pollution. Glass. Glass is used to package many food products, juices, jellies, vegetable oils, baby food, and many more. The best way to deal with glass trash is to recycle it. Using recycled glass is to make new glass products requires 40% less energy than making it out of new materials. Glass jars and bottles can be recycled over and over again. The glass doesn't wear out. Glass takes 1 million years to decompose in our landfills. Glass must be sorted by color because once glass has been colored, the color cannot be removed. Last section, keep our earth clean. Recycling is very easy to do. By recycling, we're able to help keep the environment we live in clean and safe for many years to come. If everyone does his or her part, we can save our planet for future generations. And by recycling, we can save energy, natural resources, water, and clean air. So do your part. Encourage your family, friends, and school to recycle and to buy recycled products. It's your earth. Help take care of it. If you don't, maybe someone else will, or maybe they won't. Okay, so we learned a lot of key information about recycling, okay, with our different products that we have here. Now, after reading that section, we know that we already know that Americans will throw away 130 million cell phones. And we know that even from the first article that we read. That is quite a huge number. And we saw that again in the recycling article that we just read. What were some other key ideas that we learned about the recycling process, okay, that we can maybe add on here? On your own today, friends, you're going to fill that part of your web out yourself. So maybe you want to talk about the different types of recyclable materials like plastics, aluminum, paper, glass, all that could be added in there. Maybe you want to talk about the process of what were the 3 major steps of what the materials are, the manufacturing of the recycled materials, and the purchasing of recycled products. I want you to pull up those key ideas from that second article. You are going to combine all of this to come up with one good topic summary about e-trash and recycling for today. So like I said before, continue to fill in, please, your graphic organizer from that second passage and complete a summary right in the middle. Can't wait to see what summaries you guys come up with for today, okay? Remember, today we learned about how important it is for readers of nonfiction to combine the information that we've gathered from 2 texts about the same topic. By combining the important details from one topic from two different texts, we can really deepen our understanding of that topic. And this is a great strategy as we continue to work on researching topics and gathering information. Okay, so we can share that with others. All right, friends, can't wait to see your summaries. Take care.